Welcome to the Murabiyoon Show, raising awareness of Islamic schools.
So, Ustadh, linking back to the previous two episodes, and we're talking about the identity. We've spoken about belief, we've spoken about values, and now we move on to behaviors. What would you say are the key components to having good behavioral attributes?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah wa ba'd. So again, we go back to the Qur'an, we go back to the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and in the Qur'an, many examples. One of them that really stands out and that I have sort of mentioned and alluded to in the last episode is the passage from Surah Luqman.
Yep.
And that is also the introductory kind of ayah in this episode. But just look how he introduces here this nasiha, this advice to his son, where he speaks to his son, advising him, oh my dear son, right? The most beautiful way introducing him, capturing his attention. He's not ordering him or already, through his words, trying denouncing him or no. Introducing it in the most beautiful, like Yaqub in the last episode.
Really soft, loving.
This positive praise. Respectful. All we want to build in the classrooms and in our families is an atmosphere of respect.
Sure.
And it doesn't go one way. It's not like I'm respecting my parents, I'm respecting my teachers. That has to be there. But what we see throughout the Qur'an and the Sunnah is that it is replicated. Yeah. The respect comes back. Most beautiful.
Mirrors back.
It's all, I'm honoring you, you're honoring me, we're honoring the books that we learn, right? I don't like in the classroom if kids throw their maths books or books for geography, history, because it's, in essence, what we have mentioned in previous episodes, it's knowledge from Allah.
Sure.
Hey, don't throw it around. Have this adab, the core of adab and respect and knowing, because now, we're speaking about late primary school, early secondary school, where we develop these behaviors and we develop these adab and we teach them actively, proactively, not reactively. The problem sometimes is we let something happen and then we think respond. We'll speak about that in behavior management later. But you see here a very proactive approach from the Prophet ﷺ in the Qur'an, and then also from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Many examples. Young children, one example. A girl comes to the Prophet ﷺ and she has a yellow dress. And the Prophet ﷺ praises her dress. Young girl. He doesn't even use Arabic. He says something like sana, which is a complete different language, which you read in the shuruhat, it means something nice, it it looks beautiful.
Okay.
Exactly what the girl is looking for. The girls at that age, when they are young and so they want to be, a princess and whatnot, not in the kind of Disney way, but he praises her dress and so on and so forth. And then she starts to fidget around with the Prophet's sallallahu alaihi wasallam thawb or whatever he was wearing, and her father is getting anxious and says, don't do it, and he says, leave her. And so we see an approach here which is a proactive, positive approach with the children. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had that, and many other examples. There is a hadith in Bukhari of a Sahabi radiallahu anhu who says, and I want you to imagine this because a lot of Muslims may never have heard of this hadith. It's in Bukhari. He says, I can still remember when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam blew water from his mouth on his face as a kind of a joke when he was only 5 years old. Now, I'm not suggesting you should go home and do the same. Okay, don't say this is a sunnah, is established now, we all need to do. But you can see here that the Prophet ﷺ was engaging with children, was trying to develop a positive, nurturing, friendly,
playful
atmosphere. making really that it's not like I'm the dictator and I'm going to tell you what is halal and what is haram and I'm expecting you to follow. And no, it's about, building respect, building up this. And so why don't we have, if you want to have a qiyas here, play with your children. Why not have a water fight in your garden if you can? I'm not saying waste water all the time. Once in a while, why not? Why not having some, why don't we play? Why fathers don't play with their children no more? Really, really important that we start building, and you see this is from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Behavior, teaching this positive behavior, creating that atmosphere, which is a loving, nurturing atmosphere, is a key element, not just for parenting, but also in the classroom. So you have different types of teachers. We'll speak about that when we speak about behavior management. But if you can create an atmosphere in the classroom where the children, the students will do what you want them to do because they love you,
yes,
rather than because they fear you. If you can develop that, you're on the point. You're on the point, on the path of the Prophet ﷺ. They were eager, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, to do things out of love. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but then also for the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They wanted to be close to him, with him, be noticed by him. Yes, it's huge. We all know the hadith where one of the Sahaba was asked, and he was thinking he is the most beloved to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So he approached him and he asked him, who do you love most? And he was like, Aisha radiallahu anha. And he said, yes, that's obvious. There's a wife. So, who from the men, her father, Abuha. So, and he goes on, and then he stops asking after a while because he thinks I'm way down the line.
Yeah.
Because he was made to feel that there is no one more important to the Prophet ﷺ than him.
Yes.
That's the genuine care. Genuine care. Many examples we have from the Sunnah where we have examples of this way and this approach.
It's really interesting because, in previous episodes we've spoken about belief and we've spoken about values, and there are things that are inside you, whereas your behaviors are the things that you project, right? The things that you see of me and I see of you.
Yeah, there's different ways of how you project the behavior, cognitive, and so on and so forth, the subsections.
But generally speaking, the way you're never really going to know truly what my beliefs and my values really are.
Yeah.
My behaviors were projected in the way that I conduct myself and the way that we talk and what have you. And I think what's really important is that, going back to what you said before, role modeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we're talking about pedagogy, when we're talking about kind of tarbiyah in terms of kind of living and being that person as well yourself. I think it's really important that, mashallah, the way you've mentioned it, our behaviors are on point. Ustadh, as we kind of bring this episode to a close, give me a few tips that I could take away to help kind of polish up my behavior and just to kind of be a better Murabbi.
That's a whole episode in itself.
Give me a few takeaways.
Look, generally we all need to work on being more reflective.
Okay.
And we will speak about the importance of muhasaba and muraqaba in one of the future episodes, and the ways how we can establish that as well. But maybe as a practical tip here is go traveling.
Well,
We know that, from early, there's a narration from, I think it was Umar ibn Khattab, that, somebody was meant to be a witness, and Umar, somebody came forward, and Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu was asking, how do you know this person? How can you be a witness for this person? Did you travel with him? Did you have business with him? So these are the moments where true behavior and true character comes to the front. So this narration of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anh, in which he's asking for a witness for a person, and then somebody comes forward and he asks him, how can you be witness? Do you know this person? And he's asking specific questions. Have you had business with him? Have you traveled with that person? The point here is that during those moments of business, transaction, or traveling, the true character comes to the front, true behavior, true adab, and so on and so forth. So I think that traveling and exploring the world, even if it is local with some camping trips or further away, is something that is truly amazing as a tool, a tarbiyah tool for families. Traveling together, exploring together, and let your family be part of the process, and explore together as well, because that's where you find yourself as well in terms of your strength and your weaknesses, and where you need to hold yourself, and how much patience you have, and so on and so forth. So may Allah protect us and help us protect our families, and that also counts for schools, by the way. Trips and explorations, outdoor learning. May Allah help us all.
Ameen. Jazakallah, Ustadh.
Allah barak feekum.